Well, hello. Welcome to Dan and Bryn Start a Gym. This is my cooking show this weekend for food prep. I'm going to do a couple things for breakfast. We often talk about eating oatmeal, and plenty of times people say how they're tired of oatmeal or they don't like the texture of oatmeal and so they can't handle it. So a couple different options that work and that are great for weekends, families, but you can also prep it ahead to use it. So I've gotten some stuff started already, so that hopefully this is pretty quick and easy, but I have a pan that I put some olive oil in the bottom and some frozen berries. I'll set it aside while I mix up the oat mixture that's gonna go on top of it, and then I'm gonna bake it for baked oatmeal. I was gonna say something and I forgot. Oh yes, when I do recipes, I don't give measurements, so you just can dump things and see how it works for you. So I'll grab my oats, switch this out. Where I know that Jenny likes a lot of cinnamon. I enjoy cinnamon and oatmeal as well, so again, no measurements. I probably have, I don't know, I have a ton of oats in here. This bowl is about half full of oats, and then I'm gonna dump a whole bunch of cinnamon in there, some nutmeg, baking powder, and then you can use actual eggs for part of the liquid that goes in there, but I have discovered that I like flax meal a little bit better. I couldn't find the actual ground flax meal at the store last time, so I just got flax seeds. And then you can put it in the NutriBullet, as we have, to actually grind it up more finely. Then you mix that with warm water and it becomes like eggs to help bind it together. That I do actually measure out because you use twice as much water as you do ground flaxseed. So mixing up the dry stuff here. Part of my other food prep, hard-boiled eggs, turning that burner off. So with breakfast, what's interesting to me is you can do a lot if you just test out a few different things. The next thing I'm going to do with oats is make pancakes. We've done it before with more whole oats mixing with eggs and bananas, but I think I've liked my new way better. So let's get the wet ingredients. So this right now is oats, nutmeg, cinnamon, and baking powder. That's just mixed up. I'm going to put in some vanilla. And again, I like to use kind of a lot, so I don't measure it, I just dump it. I also use unsweetened vanilla almond milk and pour a whole bunch in there so that it is fully coated. I have coconut oil in the stove right now melting. If I can open that. And then I put the coconut oil that's all melted in here with the oats as well. So this will be your real-time video of how long it takes to mix it up. When it's actually baking, I bake it at 350 for 35 to 45 minutes. Basically, when it starts to smell good, that reminds me that I'm cooking something, because I always forget. So I don't set a timer, I probably should, but I think it's more exciting to find things the next morning that I've forgotten that I was making. Dan appreciates that as well. So that is now nice and moist with there. I'll do a little bit more because I have a lot of oats in there. We'll get the coconut oil out of the oven. And it's good and melted. There's still some chunks in there, but it'll be fine. So mix all of that up. I put a little bit of the flax mixture. So what I do for that again is with the flax meal, I put 3 or 4 tablespoons of the flax meal in a little bowl, and then double that with lukewarm water and let it sit while I'm mixing all of this up, because then it becomes nice and gummy, if you can see it. So it's supposed to be kind of that binding agent. So I could probably add some more water because it's super gummy. But I like the flax meal instead of the eggs because I think it gives it kind of a nutty flavor a bit. Oh yes, speaking of nuts, we have walnuts that I forgot to add earlier, but I can do that now. You could add slivers of almonds or, I don't know, lots of different options. But we like the walnuts. Sometimes I chop them up into smaller pieces, but I was lazy, so we'll just do that. So I have my oat mixture all ready to go. Here's the berries. Well, this afternoon I tried to time it, so I was doing this at halftime of the Seahawks game, but that didn't quite work. So they're in the final quarter. It's been exciting to listen to, but I needed to get this done. Yesterday I was going to do it, which was Saturday, but I was in the middle of doing dishes and the water shut off. So we had no water in our condo for a while. Had no idea why. That was awesome. And then, since I was planning on doing this, I like to have a plan. When my plan gets thrown off, I don't respond well. So yesterday afternoon, Dan had to deal with me being a bit of a wreck because our water was not working. So thank you to Dan for that. He didn't turn it off. He just had to deal with my emotionalness. All right, so oats covering the berries. There we go. I will now pour the rest of the flax mixture over the top. It's super thick, so I'll end up kind of mixing it on with the spatula. Again, I could have added more water to it, but I can spread it over the top. Sometimes I like to add extra cinnamon and nutmeg to it, but let's just cut that in there a bit. If the flax meal is just spread over the top in a thicker layer, it will definitely be a crust on the top, which is kind of what I like about it. It makes it more crunchy. But we'll get it ready here. All right, when it is done, really what makes it, I think, is mixing it with protein powder and almond milk. So even though I'm baking it like this, where you could just eat it, I like to mix up vanilla protein powder and almond milk. And then I put the protein powder and almond milk in a mason jar, and I cut a chunk out of this and put it in there and let it soak. I was going to add some cinnamon to the top. So there is our oatmeal bake. Berries at the bottom, the oat mixture on the top. Again, you could change up the spices a little bit, but cinnamon, nutmeg, vanilla, the baking powder helps it kind of stick together. So does the flax meal, and you could use egg, like I said, in the oat mixture, some almond milk. Super simple, mix it up, put it in the oven, 350, 35 to 45 minutes. Check it in a while. So here we go. Now I gotta set everything up for our oat pancakes, and we'll be right back with that. All right, back for breakfast number 2 with our oatmeal, that's in the oven, pancakes. So I have oats in my NutriBullet blender, and I'm going to make oat flour, basically. You could measure the amount of oats that you would eat. That way your pancakes end up being the same amount. But I just dumped in there. So I'll blend that up really quickly here. It's probably good enough. This is going to be pretty much comparable to if you had pancake mix in the cupboard and pulled it out, mixed it up, cooked your pancakes. This doesn't take much more effort or time at all. So I have my oats in here, all ground up like so. I'm going to add an egg. Depending on how many oats I did, I would put more eggs in there. But just one for now should be fine. And then I always do this. So I do want to add some cinnamon and some baking powder in here like I did to my other one. And I totally meant to do that before I put the egg in. So I'm going to kind of flip some of the oats over that so that when I mix up the cinnamon and the baking powder, it's going to get over the oats and not get all sticky and clumpy with the egg. And again, I don't measure, I just dump stuff, and any baker would be like, this is a horrible plan, but when I'm just making it for myself, it's not that big of a deal to me. So it's worked out so far. I've made the pancakes for Dan and for my dad. My parents are in town this weekend, and my dad has been carb conscious lately, so he almost didn't want to eat them, but I was like, it's oats, it's okay. You can have my pancakes. So he was glad about that. But breakfasts are fun because breakfast is one of those things that, especially on the weekends, the pancakes for me, it was waffles or French toast or something fun that my dad would make on the weekends. And so now to have a way to do pancakes or something like this that's not going to be full of sugar or other processed carbohydrates is really fun and nice. So my liquid here is the almond milk again, and I use most of this, and then I'll add some water so that it gets to that pancake batter consistency. And you could make it a little bit more runny or thicker depending on how you like your pancakes. One of the things I have noticed when doing this is the first batch tends to work really, really well. But then if you have some sitting, the oats definitely soak up the liquid, so it gets a little bit thicker, which just makes for a thicker pancake when you're cooking it, but tends to work just fine. I'm going to add a little bit of water. Get it all mixed up. Now it's going to be really runny. This, I put a little bit of water in there too quickly, but that's all right. My pan has been warming up on medium with some olive oil on there so they don't stick. And yeah, these ones are going to be thin pancakes because it's pretty runny, but that's okay. I do have pictures of the first time I did it the other day, so maybe I'll use that photo, but they work pretty well. I'll give you a shot of the pan when I'm done pouring them on here. Alrighty, let's see. So, there are pancakes. So they look pretty normal, I think. I'll stick this back up here. But this is one where, other than it being a little bit texturally different, a good way to do it for your kids on the weekends, or even you could prep these in advance, take them with you, have a hard-boiled egg with it, or however you would want to eat your pancakes. So we'll let those cook there, and then at the very end, show you the stack of pancakes. I do also have in the crock pot a massive meatloaf with onion and mushrooms and spinach, some salsa. I did the flax meal thing and an egg, mixed it all up with ground beef, put it in a loaf form in the crock pot, and then put some carrots and potatoes in there. So we'll see how that ends up turning out. This is my food prep afternoon, and you got to watch some of the breakfast stuff, so give it a try, and have a great weekend. Thanks for watching Dan and Bryn Start a Gym.